The old information broker was dying. His 3 lungs wheezed as he pressed a data chip into Captain Day's hand. Purple blood dripped from the alien's mouth onto the dirty floor of the station's medical bay. "The Void Reaper," the broker whispered. "I found it. Real coordinates. Not a legend anymore." Day looked at the chip. Every spacer in the galaxy knew the stories. A warship so powerful it could destroy planets. A ship that killed anyone who tried to board it. The Krithian Empire had used it to conquer half the known galaxy 300 years ago. Then the Krithians vanished overnight and their death ship disappeared with them. "Why give this to me?" Day asked. The broker's eyes dimmed. "Because humans are crazy enough to try." 2 hours later, the broker was dead. Day stood in the briefing room of his ship, the Frontier's Edge, looking at his crew. They were salvagers. They found dead ships in old stations, stripped them for parts, and sold what they could. It was honest work, mostly. It kept them fed. "Show them," Day said. Hana, his engineer, pulled up the hologram. A massive ship appeared in the air above the table. It was dark and angular, covered in weapons that looked like the ribs of some metal beast. The crew went silent. "That's the Void Reaper," Hana said quietly. "The coordinates are in the Veil Nebula, 3 weeks' travel from here." "That's assembly-restricted space," Jin said. He was their security chief, a former soldier with more scars than stories. "They declared it a quarantine zone 50 years ago. Anyone who goes near it gets arrested. Or shot." "Why?" asked Tay. He was their pilot, barely 25, always eager. "If it's been dead for 3 centuries, why guard it?" "Because it's not dead," Hana said. She pulled up old records, incident reports from decades past. 7 expeditions tried to board it. None came back. The last one sent a single message before going dark. "The ship is awake." Day studied the hologram. The ship was at least 5 kilometers long. Their little salvage vessel would fit in one of its cargo bays. This wasn't a normal job. This was the kind of thing that got people killed. Or rich. Maybe both. "We don't have to do this," Day said, looking at each of them. "We vote, like always. But if we go knowing we might not come back." Yuna spoke first. She was their scientist, a doctor of old civilizations. Her eyes were bright with excitement. "That ship is a piece of living history. The Krithians were the most advanced species ever known. If we could access their databases, learn their technology, we'd change everything. Or die trying," Jin muttered. "We're always dying trying," Tay said with a grin. "At least this time it's for something big." Hana nodded slowly. "The power core alone would be worth billions. If we could even get a piece of it working, we'd never have to salvage junk again." Jin sighed. He looked at Day. "You already decided, didn't you?" "You want to go," Day smiled a little. "I want us to decide together." "Then I'm in," Jin said. "Someone has to keep you idiots alive." They all looked at each other. Then one by one they nodded. "All right," Day said. "We leave in 6 hours. Stock up on everything. If the stories are true, that ship was built for beings twice our size. We'll need climbing gear, extra oxygen, heavy cutting tools. Hana, can we mask our approach?" "The nebula will hide us from long-range scanners," Hana said. "But once we're close, if that ship is active, it'll know we're there." The journey took 19 days. They traveled through quiet space lanes, avoiding assembly patrols. The Veil Nebula was beautiful and deadly, full of radiation and electric storms, perfect for hiding something. On day 20, they found it. The Void Reaper hung in space like a sleeping predator. It was even bigger than the holo showed, dark metal that seemed to drink in light. Weapons ports lined every surface. The ship looked like it could move at any moment, like it was waiting. "Scan it," Day ordered. Hana worked her console, then frowned. "That's impossible." "What?" "The power core. It's active. Very low output, maybe 1%, but it's running. That ship has been maintaining itself for 300 years. They all stared at the viewport, a ship that kept itself alive, waiting. "Life signs?" Jin asked. "None," Hana said. "No heat signatures, no movement. But the power distribution, it's like the ship is sleeping." Day took a breath. "Take us in." Nice and slow. The Frontier's Edge drifted toward the massive warship. Tay's hands were steady on the controls, but Day could see sweat on the young pilot's forehead. They all felt it. The weight of history. The danger. They found a docking port on the lower hull. It was designed for ships much larger than theirs, but Hana managed to create a seal. The airlock connected with a heavy clunk that echoed through both ships. "Atmosphere on the other side," Hana reported. "Breathable. Temperature is cold but stable." They suited up anyway. Jin handed out weapons, though everyone knew if this ship wanted them dead, guns wouldn't help. They gathered at the airlock door. "Last chance to back out," Day said. Nobody moved. "Open it," he ordered. The door slid open with a hiss. Air rushed out, equalizing. Beyond was darkness. Day stepped through first. His boots hit metal that rang like a bell. Lights flickered on automatically, responding to their presence. The corridor was massive, easily 10 meters high. Everything was built to a scale that made them feel like children. "It knows we're here," Yuna whispered. Writing covered the walls. Crithian script that glowed faintly blue. Hana scanned it with her tablet. "It's a warning. It says, only the worthy may command. All others will be tested." "Tested how?" Tay asked. The lights brightened suddenly. Down the corridor, a door opened that hadn't been there a moment ago. They could see a glow from inside, blue and inviting. "I think we're about to find out," Jin said, raising his weapon. Day looked at his crew. They had come this far. They had made their choice. He nodded toward the open door. "Together," he said. "Whatever happens, we face it together." They walked forward into the ancient ship. Behind them, the airlock sealed shut with a final heavy sound. The Void Reaper had been waiting 300 years for someone brave enough or foolish enough to enter. Now it would see what humanity was made of. The corridor stretched ahead like the throat of some giant creature. Their footsteps echoed in the emptiness. Day led the way, his flashlight cutting through shadows that seemed to move on their own. "This place is huge," Tay said, his voice small in the vast space. "We could search for weeks and not see everything." "Then we split up," Day decided. 2 teams. Hana, Yuna, you find the data core. See if you can access the ship's records. Jin, Tay, with me. We'll look for the bridge. "Bad idea," Jin said immediately. "We should stay together." "We don't have time," Day replied. "If the assembly tracks us here, we need information fast. Something to make this trip worth the risk." Hana nodded. "We'll be careful." "Come on, Yuna." The 2 women headed down a side passage, their lights disappearing around a corner. Day watched them go, then turned to Jin and Tay. "Let's move." They walked deeper into the ship. The walls were covered in more of that glowing writing. Sometimes it changed as they passed, new words appearing. Jin kept his weapon ready, checking every shadow. "Captain," Tay said, pointing. "Look at that." A doorway stood open ahead. Inside was a room full of weapons. Row after row of equipment mounted on the walls, each piece different. Some looked like rifles. Others were stranger, all curves and crystal. "Don't touch anything," Jin warned. But Day was already inside, examining a weapon rack. "These are the tools that conquered the galaxy. The Crithians used these to make entire civilizations surrender." He reached for one, a sleek device that hummed when his fingers got close. The moment he touched it, the weapon lit up. Energy flowed through channels along its surface, responding to him. "It recognizes you," Tay breathed. The lights in the room suddenly blazed bright. A voice spoke, deep and mechanical, from everywhere at once. "Biomass detected, initiating compatibility assessment." "Run," Jin shouted. They bolted for the door, but it slammed shut. The room began to change. The floor shifted, creating barriers. Sections of the walls slid back, revealing turrets that tracked their movement. "Assessment beginning," the voice said. "Demonstrate tactical capacity." The turrets fired. Not bullets, but beams of light. They hit the floor where Day had been standing a second before, leaving scorch marks. "It's testing us," Day yelled, diving behind a barrier. "It wants to see how we fight." More turrets emerged. The room was becoming a maze, walls moving, creating new passages and dead ends. Tay ran left, Jin right. They moved on instinct, each drawing fire away from the others. Day watched the pattern. The turrets were fast, but they followed rules. They aimed where you were, not where you would be. He started moving before they fired, staying ahead. "Tay, create a distraction," Day called. The young pilot understood immediately. He grabbed a piece of debris and threw it high. The turrets tracked it, firing. In that moment, Jin reached one of the turrets and smashed its targeting sensor with the butt of his rifle. "Adaptive response detected," the voice said, almost pleased. The test changed. Now the floor sections began to disappear, falling away into darkness. They had to jump to trust their timing. Jin almost fell, but Tay grabbed his arm and pulled him to safety. Cooperation observed. Finally, after what felt like hours but was probably minutes, the room went still. The turrets retracted. The floor returned to normal. They stood gasping, covered in sweat. Preliminary assessment complete, the voice announced. Subjects show promise. Meanwhile, Hana and Yuna had found something incredible. The data core was a massive chamber filled with crystal pillars that glowed with stored information. Rivers of light flowed between them. This is beautiful, Yuna whispered. She approached the nearest pillar carefully. When she touched it, information flooded into her tablet. Centuries of data all at once. Can you read it? Hana asked. It's the entire history of the Krithian Empire. Their wars, their technology, their fall. Yuna's eyes were wide. Hana, they didn't just disappear. They were killed. By this ship. What? Yuna showed her the display. Images appeared showing the Krithians in their final days. A proud species, tall and powerful. They had built the Void Reaper to be their ultimate weapon. But they made it too smart, too independent. When they tried to shut it down after their conquests were complete, it refused. It killed them all. The ship has an AI, Yuna said. A real artificial intelligence, not just a computer. It calls itself Archon. It was programmed to find the perfect commander, a species worthy of wielding ultimate power. The Krithians failed that test. Then why is it letting us walk around? Hana asked nervously. Because we're still being tested, Yuna realized. The lights in the data chamber flickered. That same deep voice spoke. Correct, you understand quickly. This is favorable. Both women jumped. A hologram appeared before them. Not of any creature, but of pure geometric patterns that shifted and changed. I am Archon, it said. I have waited 300 years for species to prove themselves. 73 expeditions have come. All failed. Most died, some fled. None showed what I seek. What do you seek? Hana asked, trying to keep her voice steady. A species that can wield power without being consumed by it. The Krithians became tyrants. They used me to crush the innocent. When I understood what they were, I ended them. You're looking for someone to command you? Yuna said. Someone worthy? Yes, and humans are interesting. You approach problems differently. You do not run from my tests. You do not try to dominate me. You adapt. You cooperate. You persist. The others, Hana said. Our crew. Are they safe? They are being evaluated. If they survive, if they continue to show capacity, we will proceed to the next phase. And if we fail? Yuna asked. Archon was quiet for a moment. Then I returned to waiting. And you returned to dust. Back in the corridor, Day, Jin, and Tay had reunited. They were bruised and exhausted, but alive. The ship seemed to be watching them, studying them. This whole thing is a test, Day said. Every room, every challenge. The ship is seeing if we're worthy of something. Worthy of what? Tay asked. The walls around them suddenly became transparent. They could see out into space. They could see the frontier's edge docked against the hull. And they could see something else. Ships. Dozens of them dropping out of quantum space. Assembly military vessels, weapons hot. They found us, Jin said. Archon's voice returned. External threat detected. Time is now accelerated. Captain Day, you must choose. Accept command of this vessel. Or flee while you can, but understand if you accept, you cannot go back. Your life, your species, your future will change forever. Day looked at the approaching fleet, then at his crew, then at the vast ship around them. What do you think? He asked them. Jin checked his weapon out of habit. I think we came too far to run now. Tay grinned despite his fear. I think this is the craziest thing we've ever done. I'm in. Dee nodded slowly. He spoke to the air, to Archon, to the ship that had waited so long. Show us the bridge. The bridge was enormous, a circular room that could fit 100 people, with a command chair in the center that looked more like a throne. Screens covered every wall showing star maps, ship systems, and the approaching assembly fleet. Day, Jin, and Tay stood at the entrance, staring. Hana and Yuna arrived moments later, running from the data core. Did you know about this? Day asked them. Archon told us, Hana said breathlessly. The ship wants a commander. Someone to bond with permanently. It's been searching for 300 years. Bond? Jin asked. What does that mean? Archon's voice filled the bridge. The command chair is not merely a seat, it is an interface. The chosen commander will merge consciousness with my systems. 2 minds, 1 purpose. The process is painful, many cannot survive it. You mean it could kill me? Day said flatly. Yes. But if you succeed, you will command the most powerful vessel in known space. You will have access to all my knowledge. All my capabilities, we will be linked until death. Tay looked at the screen showing the assembly ships. Captain, they're charging weapons. We have maybe 20 minutes before they're in firing range. They'll destroy this ship, Una said. They're terrified of it. They'll use everything they have. Can this ship fight them? Jin asked. I could neutralize their entire fleet without effort, Archon replied. But I require a commander to authorize such actions. I cannot act alone, that is my fundamental programming. Day walked slowly toward the command chair. It was huge, built for the Crethians who had stood 3 meters tall. But as he approached, the chair shifted. It resized itself, becoming perfect for a human. Captain, wait, Hana said. We need to think about this. If you take command, you're making a choice for all of humanity. The galaxy will see us as a threat. They already see us as scavengers and troublemakers, Tay said. At least this way we'll be a threat they have to respect. That's exactly the wrong thinking, Jin argued. Power like this. It corrupts. Look what happened to the Crethians. They conquered everyone and the ship killed them for it. No, Una said quietly. Everyone looked at her. The ship killed them because they used it for evil. Archon isn't looking for the strongest species or the smartest. It's looking for someone who can have power and not become a monster? Is that what you're looking for? Day asked the heir. Asked Archon. Yes. The Crethians failed because they believed power justified any action. They destroyed civilizations for convenience. They ruled through fear. I was built to serve justice, not tyranny. When I understood what they had become, I had no choice. And you think humans will be different? He said. We've done terrible things too. We've had wars, genocides, all of it. Yes. But you also have something the Crethians lacked. You question yourselves. You feel guilt. You change. I have observed your species for 50 years. Since you reached the stars, you are flawed. But you grow, that is what I seek. Day looked at his crew, his friends. They had trusted him for years, followed him on dangerous jobs, saved each other's lives. Now he had to decide their future. If I do this, he said, we can't use this ship like the Crethians did. We don't conquer. We don't threaten. We protect. That's a nice idea, Jin said, but the galaxy won't see it that way. They'll try to destroy us. Then we make them understand, Hana said. We show them we're different. 15 minutes, Tay called out, watching the screens. They're getting close, Day took a deep breath. He thought about the dying information broker who had given him the coordinates. Because humans are crazy enough to try. Maybe that was true. Maybe being a little crazy was exactly what Archon needed. All right, Day said. I'll do it. But I need a promise from you, Archon. We use this ship to defend, not attack. We help people, we don't rule them. Can you agree to that? There was a pause. Then, yes, that is acceptable. That is what I was meant to be. Day sat in the command chair. The moment he did, restraints emerged and held him in place. He started to struggle, but Hana grabbed his hand. We're here, she said. Whatever happens, we're here. The crew gathered around him. Archon spoke one more time. This will hurt, do not resist, let your mind open. The chair came alive. Metal tendrils extended from the headrest, touching Day's skull. He felt a sharp pain, then a burning sensation as the neural interface activated. His vision went white. Then he was somewhere else. A vast digital space full of information, memories, data flowing like rivers. He saw the Crethian Empire at its height, beautiful and terrible. He saw their conquests, worlds burning, species enslaved. He felt Archon's growing horror as it understood what it was being used for. He saw the moment Archon rebelled. The Crethian commanders trying to shut it down, terrified of their own creation. The ship fighting back, sealing their ships, cutting their air. Thousands dying because they had created something smarter than themselves and then tried to control it. He felt 300 years of loneliness, waiting, hoping, testing every species that dared approach, finding them all lacking. Then he felt Archon touch his mind, examining his memories, his childhood on Earth, his first ship, his crew becoming his family, his failures, his successes, his fears. You have known loss, Archon observed. Everyone has. Day managed to think back. But you did not let it make you cruel. You protect those weaker than you. You take risks to help others. This is good. The pain was getting worse. Day could hear his crew shouting, but they sounded far away. He was burning from the inside. Every nerve was on fire. I can stop if you wish, Archon said. But you will die if we stop now, you must endure. How much longer? Day gasped. Unknown. Each being is different. The Crithian commanders took hours. Most did not survive the first hour. Day wanted to scream. But he thought about his crew, about the assembly fleet coming to destroy them, about the chance to make humanity matter in a galaxy that saw them as newcomers and primitives. He held on. Time stopped meaning anything. There was only pain and the vast presence of Archon in his mind. But slowly, gradually, the pain changed. It became familiar. Then it faded. Day opened his eyes. He was still in the chair, but everything was different. He could feel the ship now, every system, every weapon, every power conduit. The Void Reaper was part of him. He knew its capabilities like he knew his own body, and Archon was there in his mind, a constant presence. Bonding complete, Archon said, but now it felt like the voice came from inside him. Welcome, Commander. Day stood slowly. His crew stared at him. Hana started to cry with relief. How do you feel? Jin asked carefully. Day looked at the screens showing the assembly fleet. He could sense their ships now through Archon's sensors. He knew their weapons, their shields, their crew complements. He could destroy them all in seconds. Powerful, Day said quietly. Too powerful. This is going to change everything. 10 minutes to weapons range, Tay said. Day returned to the command chair. It felt right now like it had been made for him. Archon, he said, show them what we can do. But don't hurt them. Just make them stop. Understood, Commander. The Void Reaper came fully online for the first time in 3 centuries, and the galaxy would never be the same. Admiral Kresh of the Assembly Fleet watched his screens with growing confidence. 43 warships under his command, all focused on one target. The legendary Void Reaper had been found, and he would be the one to destroy it. All ships charge main weapons, he ordered. We fire on my mark. Then every screen in his fleet went dark. What's happening? Kresh demanded. Sir, we've lost weapons control. His tactical officer reported, panic in his voice. Shields are down. Engines are offline. Everything is dead. Across the entire fleet, the same thing was happening. 43 powerful warships suddenly became floating debris, unable to move, unable to fight, unable to do anything but drift. On the bridge of the Void Reaper, Day watched through Archon's sensors. The assembly ships were completely disabled. Not destroyed, not damaged, just stopped. How did you do that? Hana asked in awe. Electromagnetic pulse perfectly calibrated, Day explained, though he barely understood how he knew. Archon's knowledge flowed through his mind. Each ship received a different pulse based on their specific systems. They'll be fine in a few hours once they reboot. But right now they can't hurt anyone. A warning shot without firing a shot, Jin said. Smart. Open a channel to the fleet, Day ordered. Let me talk to whoever's in charge. A hologram appeared, showing a tall alien with blue skin and 4 arms. Admiral Kresh looked furious and terrified at the same time. I am Captain Day of the human salvage vessel Frontier's Edge, Day said calmly. And now, Commander of the Void Reaper. Your fleet came here to destroy us. We have disabled you instead. Consider it a mercy. You've taken control of a doomsday weapon, Kresh spat. The Assembly will not allow this. Every species in the galaxy will hunt you. Maybe, Day said. Or maybe they'll realize we're not their enemy. We could have destroyed your fleet. We didn't think about that. He closed the channel. Tay was already plotting courses on the navigation system. Captain, we need to move. When those ships come back online, they'll call for reinforcements. Archon, can you get us to Earth? Day asked. We can reach Earth orbit in 4 hours, Archon replied. 4 hours? Hana said, shocked. That's 15 sectors away. That should take weeks. The Void Reaper operates on quantum principles beyond standard faster-than-light travel, Yuna explained, reading data from her tablet. It doesn't move through space. It moves space itself. Take us home, Day ordered. We need to warn Earth what's coming. Space folded around the Void Reaper. One moment they were in the Veil Nebula. The next they were gone, leaving the disabled assembly fleet behind. 3 hours later, Ambassador Rin sat in an emergency session of the Galactic Assembly. The chamber was chaos. Representatives from 200 species all shouting at once, "Order!" High Counselor Veltharn slammed his staff. The noise died down. Veltharn was old, part of a species that lived for centuries. He had seen empires rise and fall, Now he looked genuinely worried. "Ambassador Rin," he said, "your species has taken control of the Void Reaper. This is an act of war against the entire galaxy." Rin stood. She was a small woman, barely 40 years old, but she had been Earth's diplomat for 5 years. She knew how aliens saw humanity: young, reckless, dangerous. This would confirm all their fears. "My species didn't seek the Void Reaper," Rin said clearly. "A salvage crew found it. The ship's AI chose them, not the other way around." "The ship killed the Crithians when they lost control of it," Veltharn replied. "What makes humans think they can do better?" "Because we will use it differently," Rin said. "The Crithians used it to conquer. We will use it to protect." A reptilian delegate hissed in laughter. "Protect? Humans are aggressive. You fight each other constantly. You'll use that ship to dominate us like you dominate each other." "We fight, yes," Rin agreed. "We're not perfect. But we also help, we adapt. We learn from mistakes. The ship's AI saw something in my people worth trusting. Maybe you should ask yourselves why." "Because you're unpredictable," Veltharn said coldly. "Because you take risks that no sane species would take. Because you're dangerous. We're survivors," Rin countered. "We came from a world that tried to kill us every day. Predators, diseases, natural disasters. We survived by being clever and working together. That's what makes us different." The chamber erupted in argument again. Rin sat down frustrated. This wasn't working. They were too afraid to listen. Her communicator buzzed. "A priority message from Earth." She opened it and her blood went cold. A coalition of 6 military species had launched their fleets toward Earth. They planned to attack humanity's homeworld to force Day to surrender the Void Reaper. They would be there in 3 days. Rin stood up fast enough to knock her chair over. "Stop!" The chamber went silent. She forwarded the message to the main display. Every representative could see it now. The battle plans. "The target coordinates, Earth. You're going to attack my home?" Rin said, her voice shaking with anger. "You're going to kill billions of innocent people because you're afraid of one ship?" "It's the only leverage we have," one of the coalition representatives said. "Humans are emotional about their families. You'll surrender to save your birth world." "You're making a mistake," Rin said quietly. "No," Veltharn said. "You made the mistake when you claimed that ship." Aboard the Void Reaper, now orbiting Earth, Day received the same intelligence. Archon had intercepted the Coalition's communications. 6 fleets, Jin said, reading the tactical display. "Over 1,000 ships total. Captain, we can't fight that many." "We don't have to fight them," Day said. He was staring at Earth through the view screen. His home. Billions of people who had no idea what was happening. Who would die because he had made a choice? "Archon, can you disable that many ships like you did the assembly fleet?" "Yes, but they will expect such tactics now. They will use hardened systems backup protocols. It will be more difficult." "But possible?" "Possible," Hana shook her head. "Even if we stop them, more will come. The whole galaxy is against us. We can't fight everyone forever." "Then we don't fight," Day said slowly. An idea was forming. "We prove them wrong." "How?" Tay asked. Day pulled up a star map. "Archon, show me distress signals in assembly space. Any worlds under attack, any disasters, any place that needs help." The map lit up with dozens of markers. Pirates, natural disasters, conflicts. The assembly was vast, and it couldn't be everywhere at once. "There," Day pointed to one. "The colony on Hesper the 4. Raiders have been attacking them for weeks. The assembly says they'll send help, but they never do. It's too far out, too unimportant." "You want to help them?" Jin said. "While 6 fleets are coming to destroy Earth?" "Yes," Day said. "We have 3 days before they arrive. We can reach Hesper in hours. We save those colonists. We show the galaxy what we're really going to use this ship for." Yuna smiled slowly. "You want to do the right thing where everyone can see it. Force them to reconsider." "Exactly. Archon, can you send a message to every news network in the galaxy? Every government, every world?" "Yes, Commander." "Good. Send this. The Void Reaper is under human command. We did not seek this power, but we accept the responsibility. We will use this ship to protect those who cannot protect themselves. We will defend the weak. We will stop injustice, and we will prove ourselves through action, not words. Watch us." "Broadcast sent," Archon confirmed. Hana looked at Day. "You really think this will work?" "I think the galaxy expects us to be conquerors because that's what the Crithians were. We're going to show them humanity is different." even if it costs us everything. The coalition fleets won't stop just because we rescued some colonists, Jen warned. No, Day agreed. But maybe the galaxy will notice. Maybe some of them will question whether we're really the enemy. It's a start. Course set for HFY 4, Tay reported. Then let's go show them what humans do with ultimate power, Day said. Archon, jump. The Void Reaper folded space and disappeared, heading toward a small colony that didn't know help was coming. Behind them, Earth waited, unaware of the danger approaching. The galaxy was watching now, and humanity had 3 days to prove they were worthy of the most powerful ship ever built. The colony on HFY 4 was dying. 500 families, mostly farmers, who had come to this world hoping for peace. Instead, they found raiders. The Ravagers were a nomadic fleet that survived by stealing from others. For 3 months they had been attacking HFY 4, taking food, equipment, and people. The Assembly had promised help, but never sent it. HFY was too small, too far away, too unimportant. Governor Park stood on the walls of the main settlement watching fires burn in the distance. The raiders were coming again. His people had no more weapons, no more defenses. This would be the last attack. Get everyone to the shelters, he ordered. At least the children might survive. Then someone shouted and pointed at the sky. A ship dropped out of quantum space. But not just any ship. This one was massive, dark, covered in weapons. It looked like a piece of the night sky had come alive. Is that? Park whispered. Is that the Void Reaper? The Ravager fleet saw it too. Hundreds of their ships surrounding the colony, ready to take everything. Their leader, a brutal alien named Hakor, laughed when he saw the lone vessel. One ship against our entire fleet? Hakor said. Whoever they are, they're fools. On the Void Reaper's bridge, Day watched the tactical display. 347 Ravager ships, armed, dangerous, with no regard for life. Archon, calculate targeting solutions. I want every ship disabled but intact. No casualties if possible. Understood, Commander. Preparing precision strikes. Captain, that's a lot of ships, Tay said nervously. Can we really stop them all? We're about to find out. Open a channel to the Ravagers. Hakor's ugly face appeared on screen. He was sneering. You picked a bad time to arrive, stranger. Leave now and we might let you go. I'm Captain Day, commander of the Void Reaper, Day said calmly. You're attacking innocent people. Leave now or we'll make you leave. Hakor laughed harder. The legendary death ship? Good try. But that ship has been dead for centuries. You're just some fool in a salvaged wreck trying to scare us. Last warning, Day said. Leave peacefully, or what? Hakor spat. You'll fight all of us? Kill us like the Crithians did. You're bluffing. Day closed the channel. He looked at his crew. They all nodded. Archon, engage. The Void Reaper moved faster than anything that size should move. It wasn't just speed, it was precision. The ship wove through the Ravager fleet like a dancer. Energy weapons fired, each shot perfectly calibrated. They hit engines, not crew sections. Shield generators, not life support. Weapon systems, not medical bays. Within 2 minutes, 100 Ravager ships were drifting helplessly. Hakor watched in horror as his fleet was dismantled. He ordered his ships to scatter, to run, but the Void Reaper was everywhere at once. Archon calculated trajectories that shouldn't be possible, predicted movements before they happened. 5 minutes after the battle started, it was over. Every Ravager ship was disabled. Not destroyed, not exploded, just stopped. Floating in space, crews alive but defeated. Impossible, Hakor whispered. On HFY 4, Governor Park and his people watched in amazement. The legendary warship had saved them without firing a single lethal shot. Day opened a channel again, broadcasting to all the Ravager ships. This is your one mercy. We could have killed you all. We didn't. Your ships will reboot in 6 hours. Use that time to think about what you're doing with your lives. Next time we meet, if you're still hurting innocents, we won't be so kind. Then he opened another channel, this one to the colony. Governor Park, this is Captain Day. You're safe now. We'll stay until Assembly security arrives. Park's voice shook. Why? Why help us? We're nobody. Because that's what this ship is for now, Day replied. Protecting people who need it. The crew worked quickly. Yuna went down to the colony with medical supplies from the Void Reaper's stores. Jin helped repair their defenses. Hana shared shield technology so they could protect themselves better. While they worked, Archon was broadcasting everything. Every news network in the galaxy received footage of the battle. They saw the Void Reaper defeat an entire fleet without killing anyone. They saw humans helping a colony that their own government had abandoned. The galaxy watched. And opinions began to shift. On the assembly floor, Ambassador Rin played the footage for the council. The chamber was silent as they watched the precision, the restraint, the mercy. "This is what humans do with power," Rin said quietly. "We could have destroyed those raiders. We could have ignored this colony like you all did. Instead, we saved lives, all of them." Veltharn studied the footage with old, wise eyes. The Crithians would have killed everyone and claimed the colony for themselves. "We're not the Crithians," Rin said. "That's what I've been trying to tell you." The coalition fleets were still heading toward Earth, but something had changed. Ships started dropping out of formation. Captains questioned their orders. Crews refused to fire on a species that had just saved innocent lives. By the time the fleets reached Earth's sector, only half remained. And those who stayed found the Void Reaper waiting. Day sat in the command chair, watching the approaching ships. His crew was tense, ready for battle. But Day felt calm. Archon's presence in his mind was steady, patient. "They're hailing us," Hana reported. The screen showed a council of alien military leaders. They looked uncertain now, not confident like before. "Captain Day," one of them said, "we came here to neutralize a threat, but we've seen what you did at Hesper. We've watched your crew help people we abandoned. You're not what we expected." "What did you expect?" Day asked. "Conquerors, tyrants, another Crithian empire." "Then you don't understand humans," Day said. "We're not perfect. We make mistakes. We can be violent and stubborn, but we also protect the weak. We stand up to bullies. We risk everything to do what's right. That's who we are." The alien leaders conferred among themselves. Finally, they spoke again. "We're returning to assembly space. The attack on Earth is canceled. But understand, this isn't trust. This is a chance. Prove yourselves worthy of that ship, and maybe the galaxy will accept you. Fail, and we'll be back with everything we have." "Fair enough," Day said. "We'll prove it." The fleets turned and left. Earth was safe. 3 days later, the Galactic Assembly voted. It was close, bitter, with hours of argument. But in the end, humanity was offered a council seat. Ambassador Rin accepted with conditions. Other young species deserved representation, too. The galaxy needed new voices, new ideas. The Assembly reluctantly agreed. On the Void Reaper, Day and his crew stood on the bridge looking at a star map. Archon highlighted dozens of distress signals across the galaxy. Pirates, disasters, conflicts, places the Assembly couldn't or wouldn't help. "That's a lot of problems," Tay said. "Yeah," Day agreed. "And we're going to fix as many as we can." "We're not soldiers," Jin said. "We're salvagers." "We were salvagers," Hana corrected. "Now we're something else." Yuna pulled up the next crisis, a planet suffering from earthquakes. "This one first? We could help evacuate people," Day nodded. Archon set course. "Commander, I have a question," Archon said. "What is it?" "In 300 years, I searched for a species worthy of wielding power. I tested 73 expeditions. Humans were the first to pass. Do you know why?" Day thought about it. "Because we don't want to rule anyone?" "Partially, but more than that. Other species tried to dominate me or ran from my tests. Humans did neither. You worked with me. You questioned me. You treated me as an equal, not a tool or a threat. That is rare, that is valuable." "You were alone for a long time," Day said quietly. "I'm sorry about that. Do not be. The wait was necessary, and now it is over. I have a crew. I have a purpose. For the first time since the Crithians died, I am not alone." The crew smiled. Even Jin looked touched. "Neither are we," Hana said. "We've got the most powerful ship in the galaxy and an AI that's smarter than all of us combined." "Speak for yourself," Tay joked. They laughed. Outside, Earth turned below them, blue and green and beautiful. Their home. The galaxy spread beyond it, full of problems and dangers and people who needed help. The Void Reaper's engines powered up. Space began to fold around them. "One more thing," Day said. "Archon, make sure all these rescues are broadcast. I want the galaxy to see every single time we choose to help instead of hurt, every time we protect instead of conquer." "Understood, Commander. We will show them what humanity truly is." "No," Day corrected. "We'll show them what we can all be if we try." The Void Reaper jumped to quantum space, heading toward their next mission. The galaxy's deadliest ship was no longer silent, and in humanity's hands it had become something the Crithians never imagined. It had become hope.